No, we have not done Bohemia yet, so let's go ahead and go over that. So if you're new here, my name's Sandra. I love old books. This is the Chambers Encyclopedias printed in the 1890s, and we're going to go over Bohemia. Bohemia, German Böhmen, formerly one of the kingdoms of Europe, now forms the most northern province of the Austro-Hungary monarchy, touching Saxony and Persian Silesia, Moravia, Upper and Lower Austria, and Bavaria. It has an area of 19,980 square miles, or about two-thirds that of Scotland. Population in 1869 was 5,140,544. In 1880, 5,560,819. And in 1890, 5,843,094. It contains nearly 400 cities, of which the most important are Prague, the capital of the kingdom, and third city of the empire, with 184,109 inhabitants. Pilsen has over 50,000. Reichenberg has over, and Budweis just under 30,000. The country is surrounded on all sides by lofty mountain ranges, the principal of which is the Riesenberg, part of the Sudetic chain, on the northeast, dividing Bohemia from Silesia and attaining in the peak of the Schneekop a height of 5,330 feet. On the northwest, the Erzgebirge, attaining a height of more than 4,000 feet. On the southwest, the Böhmerwald, reaching 4,783 feet. Offsets from these traverse the interior of the country, which has an inundated surface, sloping generally to the north. The country belongs to the upper basin of the Elbe, which rises in the Riesengebirge range, and it is well watered by the affluents of the river. The chief of these are the Moldau, the Eger, Iser, Upa, Matu, and Biela. Sorry, I know I'm probably butchering these words. The climate of Bohemia is generally healthy, but varies greatly in different districts. In the valleys, it is mild and pleasant, but raw and cold in the mountainous regions, where the higher peaks are covered with snow during a great portion of the year. The mountain chains, which rise on all sides of Bohemia, consist largely of primitive rocks, principally gneiss, mica slate and granite, basalt, clinkstone, greenstone, and red sandstone are also common, and with the last, diluvial and alluvial deposits are met with, often to the considerable elevation. The extensive Silurian beds near Prague are rich in fossils. The plains belong chiefly to the Middle or Miocene period of the Tertiary formation in sand, gravel, and marl. A remnant of volcanic action, of which traces are common, still continues in the eruptions of carbonic acid gas, which have established so many mineral springs of desired repute at Carlsbad, Eger, Marienbad, Teplitz, and throughout the country. The mineral wealth is varied and extensive, consisting of silver, tin, copper, lead, iron, cobalt, bismuth, antimony, alum, sulfur, graphite, and porcelain clay, with several precious and ornamental stones. More coal is produced than in all the rest of the Austrian Empire. The swampy plains yield an enormous amount of peat, and a large quantity of asphaltum is also obtained. On the other hand, no salt at all is found. The soil is generally fertile. More than one half of the area consists of arable land. Nearly 1/8 is laid out in meadows and gardens, pastures for about a 1/12, and forests cover nearly a third. The wheat, rye, barley, and oats raised in the Bohemia amount to more than a sixth of the produce of the whole Austrian Empire. Flax and hops are plentiful, and a great variety of fruit is exported in large quantities. The culture of the vine is confined to the vicinity of Moldau and the Elbe. Horned cattle, sheep, goats, and swine are reared extensively in some districts. Bees and geese form important items in the resources of the country. In manufactures, Bohemia holds a very high place among continental countries. It is a great center of dyeing and calico printing. The linen manufacture is more extensive than that in all other Austrian provinces together, and the flax spinning employs more than 235,000 spindles. The chief seat of the woolen manufacture is Reichenberg and its neighborhood. Other important branches of industry are the manufacture of paper, ribbons, lace, chemicals, porcelain ware, and the Turkish fez. The glassworks of Bohemia are celebrated and very numerous and extensive, affording employment to some 27,000 persons. Beetroot sugar is manufactured extensively, and there are hundreds of breweries and brandy distilleries throughout the country, mostly on a small scale, although Bohemian beer is sold throughout Europe. The manufacture of iron is considerable. Its position secures Bohemia a large transit trade. Steamboats ply on the Elbe and Mulde, and a canal crossing into Upper Austria conveys the timber of the Bommerwald from the latter into the Danube. There are good roads and an excellent system of railways centering in the capital, Prague. In 1885, there were 2,625 miles of railway, besides the branch lines for mining purposes. Population, religion, and education. The Czechs, a Slavonic race, form the bulk of the people. They dwell chiefly in the center and east of the country, and in 1880 numbered 3,470,000. The German population, amounting in the same year to 2,054,000, reside mainly on the outskirts, especially in the northeast and in the cities. Their influence on industry, trade, and commerce is great in proportion to their numbers. The distinction between Czech and German is very sharply drawn. There are about 100,000 Jews. The vast majority of the population, 6 million, belong to the Roman Catholic Church, but other religions are tolerated, and Protestants only amount to 120,000, the majority belonging to the Calvinistic confession, and cherishing relations with the churches of Scotland. The Roman Catholics are under the supervision of the Archbishop of Prague and the 3 bishops of Leitmeritz, Kogengratz, and Budweis. The monasteries and convents number between 120 and 130. Education is much more widely diffused than in any other provinces of Austria. At the head of the educational establishments is the University of Prague, where since 1882 all subjects are taught in the German and the Czech languages. The number of students in 1885 was 3,218, 1,450 of whom attended the German classes. There are over 50 higher schools, besides 2,200 German and 2,500 Czech public schools, and numerous seminaries and technical institutes. Bohemia sends 54, about a fourth of the 203 members of the lower house of the Austrian Reichsrat, or Parliament of the western part of the empire. History. The country derives its name from the Celtic boy, who was expelled by the Germanic Marcomanni. About the beginning of the Christian era, the victors themselves soon gave place to others, and as early as the 5th century AD, we find Bohemia peopled by the Czechs, a Slavic race. In the latter part of the 9th century, Swatopluk, the king of Moravia, subjugated Bohemia and introduced Christianity. After his death, the Dukes of Prague, who in 1086 had the title of king conferred on them by Emperor Henry IV, ruled the country as a state of the German Empire until 1306, when the last of the dynasty was assassinated. Okay, come back for part 2.